What defines true courage? Braving impossible odds to save the world, or mastering your own mind against the storms of life? Is victory found in bold action, or in calm endurance and reason? Imagine a clash between two worlds, adventure against philosophy, bravery against inner strength. A battle not of swords, but of ideals. Stay until the end. Subscribe now and witness the debate. Frodo Baggins, the small hero carrying a burden larger than himself, versus Musonius Rufus, the Stoic philosopher who taught resilience, virtue, and mastery over the passions. Welcome to the debate of Frodo Baggins versus Musonius Rufus.
Frodo, the path you tread is filled with perils and temptations that test not only the body, but the mind and soul. True strength, I contend, lies not in the courage to face external dangers alone, but in the mastery over oneself, the control of desires, the restraint of impulses, and the unwavering adherence to virtue even when the world tempts us toward vice. The trials of life are many, yet they are met with calm reason, not mere action born of emotion. The Stoic teaches that the external world is largely beyond our control. Mountains, darkness, treacherous companions, or the weight of an evil ring, these are indifferent. What matters is how one governs the self in response, the judgments we form, the patience we cultivate, the courage we temper with wisdom. To be virtuous is to act rightly, even when fear presses heavily, even when the burden feels unbearable. It is in these moments that true character is revealed. You carry a burden that few could imagine, and yet the measure of success is not only in the completion of the journey, but in the maintenance of reason and moral integrity along the way. To succumb to fear, to anger, or to rash impulse, even in the pursuit of noble ends, is to be enslaved by fortune rather than mastering it. True courage is calm, true heroism is disciplined. Consider, Frodo, that every temptation you face, the power of the ring, the fear of danger, the allure of easier paths, is an opportunity to exercise reason, to choose virtue over desire. Each decision, no matter how small, shapes the soul. External victories may bring applause or relief, but internal mastery brings freedom, resilience, and the kind of enduring peace that cannot be taken by circumstance. Do not mistake my counsel as dismissal of your courage. Action is necessary, but it is not enough. The hand that acts without wisdom risks chaos. The heart that charges forward without self-control risks ruin. Your journey demonstrates remarkable bravery, yet let it be guided by reason, shaped by discipline, and aligned with virtue. In doing so, even the most daunting quest becomes an opportunity for true greatness. A life well lived, measured not only by the dangers you confront, but by the self you cultivate along the way. I am Musonius Rufus, and I teach that while the world may demand action, the wise master themselves first. The strength of character, the calm endurance of the mind, and the choice to act with virtue above all else, these are the weapons that withstand any trial, outlast any enemy, and define the legacy of a true hero.
Musonius, I hear your words and respect the wisdom in them. Mastery over oneself, calm reason, and the pursuit of virtue are noble, indeed. Yet I have learned that courage is not only measured by restraint, but also by the willingness to step into the unknown, to face dangers that no training or philosophy can fully prepare one for. The ring I bear is more than a burden. It is a force that tests every fiber of my being. Yet I cannot stand aside, paralyzed by fear or overcautious reason. Action, even at great personal risk, is demanded by duty, by loyalty, and by the lives of those who depend on me. You speak of virtue as a guiding principle, but can virtue truly be exercised if one never confronts the darkness outside oneself? Every step I take across mountains, through forests, and into the heart of shadow is a choice to act despite uncertainty, to uphold hope when despair looms. Discipline of the mind is crucial, yet courage of the heart, the resolve to carry forward when all seems lost, is equally vital. To remain idle in the face of injustice is itself a surrender of virtue. I do not deny the value of calm, reasoned thought. They are shields against folly and despair. But action gives thought purpose, just as the body gives life to the spirit. To endure the journey without striving, without challenging fate, is to leave potential unrealized. Even the smallest hobbit can change the course of history, not merely by mastering the self, but by daring to act when the world seems against them. Musonius, I'm tested not only by the ring, but by fear, by hunger, by betrayal, and by the weight of responsibility that presses upon me day after day. Yet in choosing to move forward, in choosing to bear what others cannot, I learn resilience, courage, and the meaning of sacrifice. These are not opposites to your wisdom, they're complements. The inner strength you champion must be wielded alongside the courage to face the world, not sheltered from it. The path I walk is perilous, yet every step strengthens me, shapes me, and defines the essence of heroism. In the end, it is not simply restraint or contemplation that saves, but the harmony between mind and action, between wisdom and bravery. The world may be indifferent, but courage, tempered by reason, guided by hope, can bend even fate itself. I am Frodo Baggins, and though my journey is fraught with peril, I press onward. I act, I endure, and I hope. For even the smallest hand, guided by purpose and heart, can triumph where reason alone might falter.
Frodo, your courage is undeniable, and the trials you face are remarkable in scope and severity. Yet I ask you to consider this. Is action without reflection truly strength, or merely motion guided by circumstance? The weight you bear, the ring, the perilous journey, these test not only your body, but your reason. The Stoic teaches that true mastery lies not in the events we encounter, but in the governance of our own minds, the unwavering alignment of choices with virtue. It is easy to be swept away by the currents of duty, danger, and external demand. It is far more challenging to act with integrity, calm, and wisdom, regardless of fortune's whims. Courage, while admirable, is hollow without discernment. Endurance is praiseworthy, yet without reason, endurance can become stubbornness, a mere repetition of struggle without insight. You face darkness that tempts, deceives, and corrodes, and you act bravely, but consider whether mastery over self could make that journey not only survivable, but transformative. Every fear, every temptation, every burden encountered is an opportunity for the cultivation of virtue. Strength, then, is measured not solely by deeds, but by the resilience of the mind, the serenity amidst chaos, and the ability to choose rightly in every circumstance. I do not seek to diminish your heroism, Frodo, nor the value of action in the service of others. I commend your heart and your persistence. Yet remember, external victories fade. Mountains are climbed, wars fought, rings destroyed, but the mind, the soul, and the reasoned spirit are what endure. If courage is guided by wisdom, if action is governed by virtue, then even the smallest figure can wield the greatest influence, not through mere deeds, but through unshakable character. True triumph lies in the harmony between duty and deliberation, between the calls of the world and the governance of one's own reason.
Musonius, I hear the call of reason, and I respect the power of a disciplined mind. Yet I must insist that the world does not wait for perfect calm or unbroken virtue. It presses, it challenges, it demands. To hesitate while the shadows lengthen is to abandon not only oneself, but those who rely on us. Wisdom without action is a lantern unlit, a map untraveled, a journey incomplete. The ring's burden tests every facet of my being, yet I cannot sit in serenity alone. I must move forward, even when the path is obscured and the cost unknown. Every step I take, every danger faced, shapes me as surely as reflection shapes the mind. Courage and reason are not enemies, they are companions. I act with fear and hope intertwined, guided by conscience and the knowledge that some choices must be made, even in uncertainty. The strength of a small hobbit is not measured in solitude, but in the capacity to endure, to act, and to preserve what is good in a world that often conspires against it. Musonius, I do not reject your wisdom. I carry it with me. Yet it is in action, in the struggle against fate's weight, that the soul learns resilience. The ring tempts, the world conspires, and yet every choice I make reinforces the spirit. It is not mere bravado. It is the understanding that true virtue requires both reflection and action, both serenity and courage. The journey teaches that mastery over oneself and mastery over circumstance are intertwined, each enhancing the other. I am Frodo Baggins, and I act not recklessly, but deliberately. I endure not passively, but with purpose. The balance of mind and heart, reason and courage, is the path that leads to triumph, even in the face of overwhelming odds. To act, to hope, and to persevere is the legacy I carry, and it is this legacy that defines the measure of true strength.
A night, we witness a clash between action and reflection, courage and calm, youthful determination and ancient wisdom. Frodo Baggins showed the power of persistence, heart, and the relentless pursuit of duty even in the face of overwhelming odds. Musonius Rufus reminded us that true strength is rooted in the mastery of the mind, in virtue, and in the serene alignment of choices with reason. Who truly masters life? The one who acts or the one who governs the self? Comment below and let us know who you think won.